Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. 7 a.m. Eastern Time. We're doing New York session here. Hope you're all having a lovely day so far. Took some trades last night on Asian session. I had a really nice 3-to-1 GBP JPY short and a not so good USD JPY long. And I will cover those when I go through the charts. But ended up being overall a really decent trade overnight session. Today, hopefully we get some really good price action. So we do have non-farm tomorrow. So given that we have non-farm tomorrow, we could very well just consolidate today until the news tomorrow. But maybe not. We'll see. We do have unemployment claims at 8:30 in the morning. So you'll want to watch your positions as we go into that news event. Other than that, pretty clear. So let's hop on into the charts and just get right to it. Looking at the dollar on the daily. Coming down to now retest this breakout again. Two-hour chart is now at the breakout point, finding some support. 1-hour chart had this nice hammer candlestick, exhaustion, retesting this area. So this could be an area that we see the dollar to start rallying bullish if we respect this support zone where we had this breakout, which would be ideal. I'd want to see buyers hold it here, because this is an area that it's struggled many times in the past to break through and to really get the price going. So I'm bullish on the dollar today. I'd need to see buyers step in here and hold it. If we start pushing through these lows, then we're going to fill this move from Tuesday, and the dollar just will go back into consolidation, which is not ideal. So with that being said, looking for buys on the dollar today. And I want to see something like break higher, find some support here, and then continue through these highs. Looking at the equities, sells look decent. We have this resistance support from yesterday, resistance from overnight session, resistance during the NYSE open midday, and now resistance currently. So sells here look decent. Too early to trade it. 7 o'clock. I'm not going to trade it to at least 8:30. However, what I'd like to see is just sells at this resistance here. If we start popping back through this resistance, then we're in a nasty range, and it's not tradable. Definitely not trading in this range here. You have no edge. I will, however, consider trading it in this range. It's pretty clean. So I'm just going to wait to see what we get towards 8:30. But we'll see. The dollar, again, if we see bullish price action, then we'll be looking for sells in the equities. It has that nice resistance to short against. Taking a look at metals, gold. Daily chart, finding support at this 1810. Again, if we see buyers step in with gold and they need to hold this 1810, if they don't, then we're going to see a lot of selling pressure come into play. Looking at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart is now in a range. We do have this really big rejection from yesterday to the upside. Rejected this previous area. So we're now sitting in this range. Looking at the 2-hour pushing up into that resistance. 1 hour again pushing into this resistance here. So I like sells for gold today, which would kind of go in line with my dollar bullish bias. I'd like the shorts against this resistance here. So I want to see us push a little higher. We're now pulling back to retest this breakout here. So we are forming bullish structure this morning to push higher. However, what I'm going to look for is a run into this resistance here, for it to then fall over, retest, create a lower high, and then start pushing to the downside. So it has some time to play out and to give us something I'm looking for. However, I will be looking for shorts against this resistance here. A pretty heavy area of rejection and exhaustion. So just got to wait. But I will add an alert as price starts breaking current highs. Silver, pretty choppy range. Oil at a very, very strong area of support. A lot of exhaustion to the downside here. It's really putting up a fight. So honestly, this might just consolidate, especially if we get a bullish dollar. We're in this range right here, pretty choppy. A lot of rejection, a lot of wicks, a lot of rejection. So not interested in oil at all right now. Good morning, Johan. Welcome, welcome. All right, so now moving on to currencies. Pound yen. Had some really nice sells overnight for pound yen. Caught around a 3-to-1 trade. My sells look something like this. I was looking at this channel, this descending channel. We were rejecting the upper end here overnight. Had this nice bearish push through that support. Looking at the lower time frames, as we were pushing away from this broken support, I wanted to see a retest. I caught this retest, and it just zero drawdown. I caught this retest. My take profit was back down towards these lows, right down here, and ended up being a really nice 3-to-1 trade. So pound yen. Let's see what if there's any. There's any decent setups this morning. Praveen, sir, can you please add me in your signals group? I mean, you can join if you want. We have it. It's not really a signals group though. It's just I don't promote it as a signals group. You can learn from my trades. I do talk about what I trade. However, I'm not saying I want you to learn to be self-sufficient as a trader. But it's vanttradingforex.com. It's the link on the screen. Looking at pound yen, we are at this pretty strong area of exhaustion here. Looking left, a lot of resistance, a lot of support. So looking at lower time frames, honestly, given that we're at this area of support, I mean, I prefer the buys over the sells, but again, trying to fight through this range here, it's just not ideal. I really don't like this range. Well, the problem is it's just you have this consolidation here from over the overnight session. You had a breakthrough and a retest here. And so if I were to take longs, it's very choppy in here. So I don't know whether, where to take it to, because it's just, it's like this. So I could look at it here. So you have resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, and resistance here. So there's no clean price action looking left to where, okay, we pull back, we have a very clean move to the upside. That's not the case because we have a lot of areas of rejection if we are to the upside. So in that case, you really need volume to push through. So it's going to be most likely a very choppy move to the upside, very similar to this choppy move right here to the downside. And just that's not something I'm really interested in for New York session. I mean, however, you do have a lot of 15-minute exhaustion, so it does look good for a breakout. But we're right at VWAP, choppy range. So personally, I'm not interested. We're also sitting right below Tuesday's lows here. So I don't think pound yen is going to be on my list today. So not going to be not a huge fan. And for the sells, yeah, just a lot of rejection. So moving on from pound yen, looking at pound AUD. Pound AUD actually looks very decent, potentially. So we are sitting at this very strong area of resistance, double top here. However, we did create just a very minor pullback, filled this move here, rejection wick, high or low. We're now wedging pretty tightly into this resistance. Very clean traffic to the left for the sells. However, the fact that the sellers aren't very strong right now concerns me, given that out of this double top, they could only bring it down to right here and then right here before they really gave up. So I want to just watch it with this wedge in here. If I can see us start to produce some resistance as far as, okay, we're now creating this lower high, we're rejecting this area, I might consider sells back down to at least fill this move right here from overnight. 3:30 a.m. I mean, I don't think there was any news. No, there wasn't. So I'd expect it to at least come down if we do just consolidate today and short back down into 1.79300. And that could give us a very decent risk to reward, as far as we're looking at something like maybe a 3-to-1, depending on where we get price action and where we get our stops at. It could be around a 3-to-1. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on pound AUD. I prefer the sells. I probably won't watch the longs today just because I need to see a break and retest. We have resistance here, so I'd want to see us clear this whole area first before I started looking for longs. So I'll look for sells today. If we can come up, retest this area here, find some resistance on the 5-minute chart, and then start selling off, then I'll look for sells for a move back down into this this zone right here. Is your VWAP a trading view indicator? Yeah, go to indicators, type in VWAP, and it's the first volume weighted average price. Yeah, so that's gonna be my trade idea for pound AUD today. Pound USD daily charts coming up to retest this breakdown. Looking at the 4-hour chart, same thing. 1 hour. So yeah, if we do get a bullish sticks today, we'll most likely see pound USD roll over, which would be very nice. I'd like to see a little bit higher price action. We still have this gap that I want to see us fill right here from where this high was to where this low was. But however, we do have this resistance from this previous support as well. So yeah, but I think I'd rather see it higher in this range here. So if I can get pound USD to push higher into this 1.19200 range, which is where this previous wick rejection was from Tuesday, it's where this breakdown was, then I'll look for sells for then a push down back into VWAP area. So I'm just going to add an alert, let it go. AUD USD. Daily chart looks like it wants to find support here and start pushing bullish up into this retest zone. 4 hours now finding this support at yesterday's resistance, but we do have a lot of exhaustion still to the upside here. Looking at the 1 hour, 1 hour is in just a choppy range. Yeah, very, very choppy. All right, so with AUD USD, I consider like a break and retest off of either direction here. But I'm definitely not trading this range here. Not a chance. So I'll consider it. I just want to see this one confirm a break. Euro USD. Still, we have a lot of range to fill here, but we are running into these previous areas of support before. Finding some resistance at this previous rejection point from Tuesday. Came back down to retest in this previous area of exhaustion. So maybe you get a pop up and then sells, but I'm not really a huge trader of Euro USD because I just don't vibe with it. But again, you do have a lot of support to the downside if you were to take those sells. So that one's not very clean either. So I'm not going to trade Euro USD today. USD CAD. USD CAD is running into a lot of exhaustion. A lot of exhaustion. I'd love to see us come down to retest some of this breakout. So taking a look at the 4-hour, 2-hour has this nice bearish engulfing. Just had this wick retest for a potential rollover and continuation down. 1 hour, same thing. You have the support that we're now retesting. Same thing on the 30-minute. So 15-minute. Honestly, if this closes back below this range here, I mean, it could be a very valid sell. We do have a lot of chop looking left. But I think we could at least get down to this support zone here from yesterday. Seeing a lot of wicks, a lot of rejection in this area here. The problem is yeah, I mean, even this 30-minute, a lot of rejection here, and I've tried to trade something like this before, and just trying to fight through all of this is going to be tough. So I'd rather take no trade than to try to trade into this as a short. So remember, you got to look for A+ setups and not force trades. And to me, this would be forcing a trade based off of all of this indecision. I mean, you have a wick here, a wick here, a wick here, a wick here, wick here, wick here, wick here. So this whole area here, there's no chance that I'm going to try to short into that. And if I'm looking for longs, I really am not interested in the longs until we break through these highs, because again, I would look for something like, okay, break, retest, look for longs, but then I'm just stuck in this range here, and then we're just ranging. So I need to see a clear break and retest for longs. So UCAD most likely not on my list today, but I'll add an alert at the highs in case it does break for longs. USD JPY. I had a trade on this last night. Didn't work out, but I'll explain it real quick. So what I was looking at was this previous rejection, this resistance here, resistance, support from yesterday. And so as it started coming back down to retest the support, if you look at the 10-minute, the 10-minute was really based off the 10-minute chart. I was looking at this area here, and I wanted to see buys against this previous support from yesterday. It's also an area we had some rejection from Tuesday. And so I took a long, expecting, okay, if you look at price, we're just pulling back to retest to create a higher low, find support, find exhaustion, then continue higher. Just didn't work. It is what it is. So looking at price action today, came back and filled this move, finding support here. 1 hour had a bullish engulfing, 30-minute bullish, 15 minutes. So I like these longs. If the 15-minute can come down, find support here, I like that longs to rally towards VWAP and this resistance. That's probably going to be one of my main trade ideas today. It's going to be this USD JPY long against this resistance and support. Yeah, I like this idea. So I'm going to add an alert and keep an eye on these UJ longs. And that kind of goes with my thesis of my bullish Dixie today. Euro GBP. Just filled that range from overnight. Choppy, not interested. GBP New Zealand's. Yeah, choppy, not interested. Euro AUD. Remove drawings. Sitting here in a consolidation. Potential sells, given that we just retested this support and resistance now. But not sells. I wouldn't sell into this, but I like the idea if we can break through this support, then maybe we come back down to fill this move here. So might not get this today. I'll add an alert, but it's something that could come the next day or two. But we'll keep an eye on those. We are creating this exhaustion, these lower highs. And so now I want to see if we then start pushing down like that. So want to keep an eye on Euro AUD for sells potentially moving forward. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything in a nutshell what I'm looking at today. Again, my bias for now is bullish on the dollar here. However, based off of this previous resistance and this retest point, showing a little bit of exhaustion here on the 1 hour chart. This hammer, 30 minutes pushing up. So, like I said, for now it's bullish. If we can push up, create a higher low, and then continue. But if we do start breaking these lows here, then I'm definitely switching my bias and looking for sells to fill this move here. So you can't be wed and married. You can't be married to a bias. You can have an idea going into the charts, but you have to be able to adapt as a trader. And so if you start seeing price confirm that, okay, we're breaking these lows and continuing south, then I'm switching my bias, and then I'll reanalyze all the pairs, and I'll be like, okay, if we're a sell bias on the dollar, now what, right? And so that's why I typically, when I go through my pairs, I always like to have a buy and sell bias if I can see it. And so I'm always prepared. Okay, the dollar is selling off, so let me go back to what my other bias was. That's why when I go through pairs, I always look for sell and buy biases. Like if you look at AUD USD, I have a sell and buy bias, right? Because I don't know, the Dixie, I may be wrong on the Dixie's analysis, but that's why when you go through your analysis, you have to be like, okay, this is what I prefer to see, but if I see this instead, then that works too, So, but that's everything. Thanks everybody for tuning in on the YouTube live stream. Again, starting Monday, I will be doing my funded account, or I guess my challenge account. Going to walk through how I pass challenges and get funded. So if you want to join, VantTradingForex.com. I'm going to hop off on Zoom now and trade. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Safe trading out there. And yeah, see you later.